Hey there, folks. Santino Pino here, and want to go over an article of Diddy's release date, Sean Combs' release date from the Bureau of Prisons. It's an article. The first one that came out that I saw was actually from a radio station called Hot 97, but we'll just go with this one. It's not exactly a verified source, so if there's any other information that comes out after this that could be different, go by that, and I'm in the complete wrong. But hopefully, I'm not. Let's jump into it. So Diddy receives a new prison release date by Ty Marie today, April 1st, April Fool's Day. It is not an April Fool's joke, though. So music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has received an updated date from the Federal Bureau of Prisons, marking the second time his scheduled departure from federal custody has changed. Now, you know what's weird is I've had a bunch of conversations about this the last couple days about prison release dates, and most correctional agencies have something called good time. It could be called something different where they're at. I'm going to call it good time because that's what it's kind of colloquially known as. Did I get that word right? Probably not. Anyways, um, so inmates can earn good time based on good behavior. So if you've seen in the movies released early for good behavior, there are some places that do that just based on boards and and groups and different things where you can earn it, right? But the majority of them have a very clear system, and it's a good thing for the prison system to have that because you want something that has a metric on it that all inmates can achieve, right? So, in like I said, in most agencies, they give them so much good time for their time in, usually by year, with no disciplinary action. So someone's release date from prison could be changed. Now, most of the time, that means that they're going to get out of prison earlier, but might not necessarily go home. They'll probably go to a halfway house. But there are circumstances where they can earn an early release, where they get supervised release and they get to go home as well. So seeing departure dates change and stuff like that, that's normal. That's normal. Plus, it's an active case. There's going to be charges that change. He's got a team of attorneys that's always going to be negotiating and submitting stuff to the court. I mean, he's always going to be submitting stuff to the court for the rest of his life. So they're always going to be looking to take a little bit of time off and a little bit here and a little bit there. And it makes sense. And you get that with a lot of high profile inmates, which I'm going to get into. Stick around, please, because we're going to talk about high profile inmates and how they're handled. According to the Bureau's records, the Bad Boy Records founder is now set to be released April 15th, 2028, which is in a year, 2 years, I mean, a shift that shortens his remaining time bar by 10 days. So probably good time credit or some type of credit for time served based on where he was held in detention or whatever. That's going to change a lot. Not by leaps and bounds, but you'll see 10 days and 5 days and 7 days shaved off here. I've seen that with inmates all the time, especially high profile inmates. The latest adjustment follows a previous revision that reduced his sentence by more than a month, though officials have not detailed the specific reasons for incremental credits. They don't have to. It's public information. I love it. Well, they haven't responded to this. It's public information. They don't have to. Like if I was a PIO, a public information officer, anything that's public information, unless I'm the first person saying it to the public, I'm just not going to respond to that. Like it's public information. You can look that up. News is going to make up their own mind, right? So the sentencing stems from Combs' conviction last summer on 2 counts of transportation engaged in prostitution. While the mogul remains incarcerated, his legal team continues to fight the conviction through various vigorous appeals process. And I mean, this is going to happen for the rest of his life. Like as long as Diddy is in existence, right? Like, there are, there's a situation in Arizona right now where a very famous Arizona citizen was accused of some really heinous stuff back then, but he's been dead for a long time. So now it's just tampering or whatever, changing his name, changing what his name means and the legacy and stuff like that. And there's a legal team working on that, even though the guy's been in the ground for decades. Okay. So this is going to happen forever. This is going to happen forever. It's always going to be doing this. Eventually, it'll just be boring and it won't make news anymore. Defense attorneys have argued that the initial sentence was a perversion of justice and have called for an immediate acquittal or resentencing hearing. I've always been fascinated. Every time that I went to court, I love how eloquent that attorneys are. Like it's like there's a word of the day calendar, like just in their brain. And I've always found that fascinating. And yeah, just perversion of justice. I'm willing to bet that he didn't just create. He's probably said that. That attorney has probably said that in every case that he's ever argued in court. So the defense's argument, scheduled for a comprehensive presentation on April 9th, asserts that the district court failed to acknowledge the consensual nature of the activities involved. The sentence fails to consider that the activity referenced in this case was consensual. His legal team stated, adding that prosecutors were unable to secure convictions on the most severe allegations leveled against him. I'm not even going to respond to that. I don't respond to. I'm not going to respond to charges and stuff like that. That's ongoing litigation, and I don't want to gaslight anybody that could be innocent or guilty. So federal prosecutors have remained steadfast in their opposition to any leniency for the disgraced mogul in recent court filings. The government argued that Combs' request for an appeal ignores the gravity of his actions. Prosecutors wrote that the court should not close its eyes to the way Combs carried out his crimes, alleging he abused victims through threats, violence, and use of drugs to maintain control. As the legal battle continues in the courtroom, Combs' reputation in the music industry remains subject of public debate. And I'm actually surprised that they're not going into any like inmate treatment here because he is a high profile inmate. So he, number one, he's got a lot of money, so he's got access to a legal team. And so this is one of the things that a lot of people might not understand about prison, okay? Behind bars, for the most part, they're just about all the same. When you have high profile inmates, and I can think of two right now, that very specific special treatment because they're a special case. Okay. That is, you can look these guys up on your own, that their videos for another day, but we have like Jared Loeffner, who was a shooting suspect, committed a horrible act in Tucson, Arizona. Whitey Bulger was a crime boss. And these are guys that I got to, these are inmates, convicts, felons that I got to meet and interview in prison, which, I liked doing that. I liked when we would have infamous inmates. I would like interviewing them, uh, you know, because I mean, I was fascinated by the population, by the people that we would have when we have these high profile cases. And let me just put it like this. I'm going to tell you the real reason why I'd sit down and interview them. Um, if you had the chance to interview some of these infamous people, would you say yes or no? I had the opportunity. I said yes. So I think it's important that you take opportunities like that. But in the first one, in the Jared Loeffner case, I mean, it was one-on-one supervision. He's got his own cell that's kind of off the beaten path of where other cells are. And it's just such a high profile case. The news is in there. And it's not that we're treating the inmate special. We are isolating the situation. Okay. We're isolating him from the population because he's all over the news, right? He's all over the news, and somebody might act to get their 15 minutes of fame. We've seen that happen a lot in prison. Um, that happened in Tucson with another case recently too, where a famous inmate got stabbed, and the inmate was really, I mean, he's not standing up for any cause. He's just trying to get his 15 minutes fame by taking out a famous inmate, right? So it's important to isolate that, and I get that. Maybe some officers don't get that, and I can understand that because you have a mission, you have to treat everybody the same. There's no shortcuts in prison. But I understand the administration's view of wanting to isolate a situation just there's less moving parts. There's less things that could go wrong when you isolate them, and it does give the idea that there's special treatment going on, but it's not really. If anything, if anything, it's protecting more the officers and the other inmates in prison from bad stuff happening. When I interviewed Whitey Bulger, he didn't get a lot of special treatment. His 15 minutes of fame were pretty much gone, even with that movie that came out about him called Blackfish. His 15 minutes of fame were pretty much gone. Nobody was really tracking him by the time I got to interview him, but it's still amazing to meet these people. And don't think I look up to these guys. Don't think I want to learn from these guys. It's just like I said, if you had the opportunity to safely interview a really famous bad person, would you? And my answer is always going to be yes. Yeah, and so a good friend of mine told me that I should write a book at some point on all the cool people I've been able to sit down and interview, and most of them were in prison settings, so there's no recordings or anything like that, just kind of notes, or maybe I just had a conversation with them. So I haven't looked up Diddy's incarceration situation. I don't know what type of treatment he's getting and all that stuff. But the thing that you have to remember in this one too is that he has an army of supporters. Now, they're not too loud right now, all right? But he's got an army of supporters. He's got a diehard fan base that will be convinced that he is innocent for the rest of his days, right? And I'm reminded of a recent situation where I think it was a female rapper where she, you know, messed up her own appointment to get either her hair or nails or both done. And the the business owner is opening her salon for this person at special hours. On top of that, there's a procedure they need to follow while they're there to get the right amount of service. And on top of that, this person brought another person. So it's like it was just this mess that the rapper created. And then the rapper got on social media, made a video and said, "Hey, go trash this person on Yelp." And she got like 5,000 one-star reviews in a matter of a few hours. Now Yelp, to their credit, did go back and fix it. Now this is unrelated to Diddy, okay? But but it shows the power that social media can have, right? Like, unless you isolate a situation like this, something like that could happen. Let's say that you have, just you put them in the general population, or you put them with general officers until the fame calms down a little bit, right? A lot of bad things can happen because they'll get word out. They have phone privileges, email privileges. They send a letter. Not a lot of inmates. I don't think he would ever send a letter. I don't think there's a reason for that. He'd probably just email and use phone. And uh, he's one phone call away from telling somebody to dox somebody on Instagram, right, or on YouTube. And so the best thing for everybody involved is just to isolate them, and it just makes you think that they're getting special treatment. They're not. So I agree. I agree with that. But also, I mean, they're watching this every single day. Anytime there's a shift in his release date, it's going to make the news. And in all honesty, you don't have to click on it. And I think most of the headlines from now on, uh, unless you see something about overturned or court case change or something like that, but you're going to see his release date get adjusted a bunch. Like almost all modern day federal inmates. Now, I'm not talking about the federal inmates that have been in the system for decades, but I would say if they're federal inmates in the last 10 years, you're going to see that release date sometimes shift and adjust a little bit based on their good time, based on ongoing court procedures, especially when they're newer in court. Unless they get a really lengthy sentence, then it's just going to get locked in, and it'll just be that for the rest of their life. So just wanted to go over the Diddy thing and tell you it's news, but it's not news. So you don't have to pay attention to it. You don't have to watch it all day long. If you're watching this, I appreciate you. I I won't do many stories on Diddy unless, of course, it is about the Bureau of Prisons. And speaking of which, like I said, Bureau of Prisons, if you're watching, thank you for this. Anybody from there, TSP questions, call me. You'll see my phone number pop up on the screen at the end of this. Also, it's everywhere on my YouTube channel. Uh, Appreciate you watching. Subscribe, like for more, and we'll see you in the next video. Give me a call. Talk to you soon.